Hi, Gary Hinderberg here, co-author of Online Video Marketing Deep Dive. And in today's presentation, we're going to talk about how long your video should be. Now, the answer may surprise you, and here's why. When I originally started to research this topic, I'd like to oftentimes see what other bloggers and, in this case, production video houses were saying about a topic so that I can blend a few of their ideas and synthesize it with what my experience is so that I can share with you what I believe is my best thinking. So when I started this pursuit, it was actually with the whole notion that I was going to write about how to write a script. But I got so distracted with what I was reading from the bloggers and video production experts that I decided I had to take care of how long your video should be. Because it was almost without exception that every one of the pieces that I would read, the first pieces of advice was to keep the video short. They'd say keep it to 30 seconds, 60 seconds, never more than 2 minutes. Well, I'm a long-time direct marketer, and if you are also a long-time direct marketer, that's sort of like telling you that nobody will read a one-page direct mail letter. You've got to keep it short. You know, that no one would read a 2-page or 4-page or let alone a 16-page letter. Well, those of us who are direct marketers know better. We know that if it's a well-written letter and it really pulls the reader through, that someone will read a 2-page, a 4-page, yes, maybe even a 16-page letter. So I think the same thing can be said for video marketing, because when you make it a great video, people will stick with it as long as they are interested in your topic. So to those who have barked, keep it short, I say keep it tight. Because when you begin with a really compelling lead, when you keep the story moving and flowing, your video viewer will stick with you as long as it interests them, just like a well-done long-form direct mail letter. So today, let's dispel myths about the length of what your video should be. And I'm going to offer some guidelines for 5 specific types of videos, along with what our experience has been on how long you can run that kind of a video. And of course, talk a little bit about some of our opinions as well, which are usually grounded in what we have found as works. So one word first about opinions, and that has to do with the fact that if you're a traditional direct marketer, you probably, just like me, look at the numbers. You look at the analytic tools. And the wonderful news for video marketers is that with analytic tools on YouTube, there is no longer any need to have an opinion or listen to an opinion about what works, because you can have some hard numbers to prove your case. These tools are free. They're available on YouTube. So here's a YouTube chart from a recent video of ours. It was the presentation on tablets. And what this chart does is it shows you from the beginning, you have 100% of the viewers, and you see a gradual decline, which is simply a natural part of what happens with a video. That particular video is 6.5 minutes long, and you see that gradual decline from the very beginning. It goes down, and you know what? I'll go back in a few days and look at the stats on this video and see how long you stuck with this particular presentation. So this one revealed that 56% of the viewers stayed the entire 6.5 minutes, and that's actually above average, and I'll show you why here in just a moment. Or consider this second example. It's a fun project that Perry and I did for a performing chorus that I happened to volunteer for, and I actually happened to perform with. It's just over 2 minutes. We put it on Facebook. We sent it to 10,000 fans via email. And as you can see by looking at the number of people, we had hundreds and hundreds of people who looked at this video. The line only gradually erodes over time, because here was a high loyalty viewer. We had 60% who retained and stayed with that video all the way to the end. And so a strong video. Now, that was also above average in terms of retention rates. So why do I say, or how do I know it's above average? It's because on YouTube, there is still another tool that you can use that shows audience retention that's comparable to other videos that are the same length of your videos. So you're able to look at the relative strength of your video as compared to the market average. And that chart shows that retention can be above average or average, and of course all the way down to below average. So it's a great way to take some data and to take the mystery out of your video being too long or too short. So this is an analytic tool on YouTube that you absolutely must use. You will know when you lost your viewer. You can look at that line and you can see at what moment you maybe had a fall off of viewers. You can go back and look at that particular point in time on your video. You can figure out what was on the screen or what was said when you had that retention dip. That way you can take corrective action. You can go back and you can edit that video and know how to make it stronger for a future test. So you have the statistics, you have the facts when you use this particular tool. So let's move on into the 5 types of videos that I think a direct marketing video is likely to fall into, along with some thoughts and general guidelines of the length based on our experience of what you should be using. So number 1 is a video which is an educational message. Usually, this type of a video can sometimes be a series of videos, and what it does is it builds the prospective customer up to a purchase point. So it's not just educational. I mean, it is educational, but it really does have an intent of bringing the viewer up to a purchase cycle. You want them just absolutely wanting that product or that service by the time they get done with watching a long form video. So most likely it's a video which is going to run anywhere from 5 to even 15 minutes is our experience that can be really successful. You have some options in terms of how you create this and deliver it. One option is to have a short video that you put on a landing page so the viewer can get a little bit of great information, understand what the premise is. And then that the viewer then can decide whether it's solving a problem that they may have or how it's going to help them. And what the viewer can do is, of course, access the rest of the video if they put their email address in the opt-in form. So it may be one video they watch all at one time, or it could be a series of shorter videos that's actually sent over a few days. And you use an email autoresponder campaign to bring people back to that video series. So number 2 would be a product demonstration. Now, the product demonstration video is often dictated by the product complexity. A new product is probably longer in terms of what you would talk about in a video. It might be educational, just like I mentioned a few moments ago. If your customer or your prospective customer is already familiar with your category, maybe you can deliver it in less than a minute. But I don't recommend that you fit a video into a time slot. I do recommend that you take as much time as it needs to translate features into benefits, but not a second longer. You have to be brutal in editing, you have to be clear, you have to be compelling, and you have to remember to keep it tight. You can do it in 30 seconds, then that's great, and if you can do it in 3 minutes, then so be it. As long as it's an engaging video, you can keep people with you for 3 minutes, so it's okay as long as it's tight. Number 3, video for fundraising is a natural, and here's why. Because in a video for a not-for-profit, you can tug at people's heartstrings, which means that you can tug at people's purse strings. But to be successful, you need a great story. It needs to be told by people whose lives have been touched. It's not about the plea or the ask, it's about transforming lives, both physically along with emotionally. Now, our experience in this particular fundraising space with a loyal constituency has been that a 5 to 7 minute video can actually work really well. 10 minutes in our testing was too long, 3 minutes was too short. And that may be apparently because of the shortness of time to really build the emotions to bring the person to a tipping point where they would make a contribution. Number 4 is lead generation. Now, inherently, lead generation suggests that it should be a shorter video based on our experience. I would probably really adhere to that 1 minute guideline. But because you have to give enough information to motivate the viewer to complete an online form or to pick up the phone and call. You certainly don't want to reveal too much, and there is a real fine line here, but I'm going to repeat, keep it tight. Finally, number 5 is case studies. Now, case studies are a very interesting opportunity for you because you can couple customer reviews or endorsements. It's a format that's watched by more people than any other format of video. So we suggest that you always weave interviews in with real customers or contributors when you can, and you really can make this kind of a format a 3 to 7 minute video for you and be successful. The bottom line is this: you need to identify the type of video that you're going to produce to meet your needs and plan your objectives. and you build your storyline from there. Now, in a future blog post, we will get back into the script writing, but the length of the video was something we felt that needed to be really covered first. So share with us your comments below about your experience with video length. If you found shorter is always better for you, well, we want to hear about that. But that's all for today. On behalf of my co-author, Perry Alexander, we'll see you in our next installment of Online Video Marketing Deep Dive.